Dear Mark, ladies and gentlemen, each of us keep in mind recent and dramatic events in Paris. The number of victims, the dramatic circumstances of their deaths, concerning people as different by their age, social origin, nationalities, religions, creates the world's solidarity and compassion. That also creates the knowing that terrorism could strike everyone, everywhere, in every circumstances. No country can be sure there will not be terrorism acts in their fields. The most important thing for terrorism is communication. That's why an event, political, sports events, cultural events, can be the occasion for them to make a terrorist act. The presence of media to speak about what they did is for them the most important, because they want to create fear, to paralyze the normal life, economical or social one, to disorganize the states. It's not the first time that terrorism strikes Europe. London, Madrid, Brussels, after New York in 2001, were hurted in the past few years. But for the first time, maybe, the whole world is mobilized against terrorism. Europe, United States, Russia, Arabic states, Africa too. The reaction is necessarily security and military one. But it cannot be only security or military. We are aware of that evidence. Fight against terrorism is not an ordinary one. And that's why cultural diplomacy has a special concern, a special role to play. First, we have to understand terrorism thoughts and mechanism. Before show how cultural diplomacy could help eradicating terrorism, and especially Daesh terrorism. First of all, terrorism is an asymmetric war. What does it mean? Because I suppose you are not everyone specialist of defense. A symmetric war is when two nations or more are fighting with the same kind, the same level of armament. Each of them can win or not. Asymmetric is when one is much more stronger with more sophisticated weapons. Asymmetric is the consequences of that one. It is when it is the fight of weakness against strong. When you cannot fight with the same level of weapon, you try to do something else. And something else is car bombing, is kamikaze, is IED. Daesh use classic weapons only against local enemies who have poor armament. It's the case for the Kurdish people and even for Syrian army. Again, strangers like Occidental countries or some Arabic states, they use car bombing, human bombs, IED. Secondly, you have to understand that Daesh terrorism is an ideological and sectarian one. The aim of the Daesh leader is to exterminate everyone who has not the same faith, dogmatism, or way of thinking. Christian communities in Iraq or Syria are the principal victims, but also Muslim. All Muslims who have different ways of life or interpretation of Quran. All symbol or civilization which don't correspond to their own must be annihilated. So are justified the destruction of Palmyra or the Museum of Mosul. As Taliban, some years ago, destroyed large Buddhas in the north of Afghanistan, Daesh want to whip out other civilizations. But it's true that they conserve some antique art piece for trafficking, and so make money to finance war and buy their weapons. Daesh aim is not only that. I think it's not only a traditional terrorism, because its ambition is also to order its global vision on territories larger and larger. Middle East first, but also Africa, we saw that with ACME and Mali and so on, Europe, United States. And weapons are not sufficient for such a volunteer. They are not sufficient for their vision. So people also must be indoctrinated. Forced religious conversions with execution menaces, forced wedding of young women with Daesh fighters, brainwashing and indoctrination by internet, education of children in special Quranic schools, all that work in that way. Internet and social media all over the world constitute huge platforms to extend and accelerate radicalizations and quick enrollment. Here is certainly the special points where cultural diplomacy could play an efficient role. Why? Why cultural diplomacy could be an answer fighting terrorism? Daesh joins bin Laden to create a global conflict between Arab worlds and Occidental one. Each security response from the Occidental countries is shown as a fight from Occident against Muslims, against all Muslims. That's the way they try to organize that fighting between Occidental world and Muslim worlds. So we have to fight that idea. To provide such a risk, we need the participation of Arabic states and Muslim religion authorities. They are the first one and the more legitimate to denounce the wrong interpretation of Quran. What is used to indoctrinate young people. Europe has to work with them, with the Arabic countries, with the religious authorities. We have to elaborate with them new messages to eradicate the false ideas and the terrorist propaganda. We have to reinforce strategic communication, in particular in the internet and social medias. And we need the Arabic countries for that too. We have also to improve with them our action to reinforce Arabic communication. So I think that we have to fight again analphabetization, lack of knowledge of other cultures, religions, intolerance, because they are basis of indoctrination. So what concretely can you do with cultural diplomacy? We must facilitate interconfessional dialogue, dialogue with civil societies, contact between universitarians, and that's really the center, the heart of cultural diplomacy. We have to think about creation of working groups between Europe and Arabic world with eminent persons from Europe and Muslim worlds to promote cultural and intellectual exchanges, to build cultural dialogue on ramification and causes of terrorism and radicalization in our own societies. We have to organize cultural program in jails to fight radicalization and stop radical messages. Because as a justice minister, I saw how jails are the place where radicalization is growing more and more. And also in some university, we have to be conscious about that and to try to fight it. We have to fight against terrorism at school, develop critics and analysis situations, work programs and on tolerance and religious and belief. We need that, and we have to do that. I think there is a new field for cultural diplomacy, a very urgent action which concerns each of us, of our nations. Thank you. So I'm sorry, because I don't know if you were informed of, but I have to take my plane to go to Prague, where there is also a meeting of European Parliament on tolerance. So I think I'm not sure I can take more questions.
You told me that you will be available until 3:30. So we have 10 minutes, perhaps. One or two questions.
Okay. Oh, many questions.
Okay. Do you have make the positive discrimination for ladies?
I'm Salma Popalzai from Afghanistan, working for women's and children's rights. My question is, in your opinion, countries, post-conflict countries or fragile countries like Afghanistan, what strategies they should adopt in order to pave the platform of addressing women's rights or human rights through cultural diplomacy? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Before you answer, perhaps we may take two questions at once and another round of two questions, please.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency, for your thoughtful discussion and speech. My name is Iqbal Dawari. I'm from Afghanistan too, and I'm conflict expert, and my advisor was a prominent French security expert, Elise Ferron. And I remember one issue from her that she said, never tell people that, never mention the word terrorist, because Mandela and Charles de Gaulle were the first who were called terrorists. Yes, this is what she said, and I try to avoid the word terrorist. I have two questions from you specifically. Daesh and Al-Qaeda, they work together, and Daesh is a part of Al-Qaeda. They have good coordination. After the kill or the murder of Osama bin Laden in Pakistan, not far from Islamabad, who was protected by supposed to be protected by Pakistan's intelligence services. What measures you took, or what pressures did the European Union or the Western countries put on Pakistan? Because Pakistan should have been responsible for it. It gave place to a notorious leader like Bin Laden, who killed thousands of people all over the world. Thank you. I will not ask the second question. Thank you.
So I'm very glad to have two interlocutors from Afghanistan, because I love your country. I came, I think, 10th or 12th or 14th, I don't remember exactly, in Kabul, in Kandahar, and so on. And you have a very nice and very interesting country with such dramatic problems. So what to do? I tried when I was in charge of defense, when I was Minister of Defense, to help association like yours, and I remember to have visiting some of them. First time it was in 2002, last time it was in 2007. And I saw all what they did, and especially for the women who were alone with children, because many men were dead in the fight. And it was very important. And I think it was important also what to try to help for free information, because there was also, and there is, I suppose, today also a problem for information to help, to have really information in the whole country, because something is Kabul. But I suppose there is not many changes in the south and in the very small villages where I came. And I think we have to do that. We have also to try to help the medicine, the doctors, for the women. It was a very important problem. And I tried to have a sensibilization of all the great medical associations in the world to elaborate some clinics to help them also. You have in Kabul the French hospital that Jacques Chirac and Mrs. Chirac tried to build for women and for children too. And I think that's a way. That's not only the way. I think that your country needs, in first, peace. And I think it's important. It needs reconciliation. And it's not very easy in the north and in the south, to have, to create an organization of the state. I don't know, and I cannot know if it is a federation or a unique state who can help each to develop his capacity and his liberty, but I think it's important. So I think what to do for women, I think we have to speak with the leaders of the country, but also with the leaders of the province. I tried to have a discussion in Kandahar with men and women who were elected and to try to help them. I think it's important to say that when we have a dialogue with them, we want also to have women in the panel, which we discuss. And I think we need also in each association to have a sort of coordination with such association in others' country. I think that is concretely what we can do, and I think that cultural diplomacy could help you. I know that Pakistan is a part of the problem. It's a part of the external, but internal problem too, because I'm sure that Pakistan tried to have a play and a role with certain part of Afghanistan. But it's not very easy for Europe, because we have really few relations with Pakistan. I think that United States are much more involved in the problem of Pakistan. We know that we have problem with ISIS. We know that sometimes we have problem also with the leaders of Pakistan. But when they are not waiting something from Europe, it's difficult to have real dialogue and to try to make some pressions on there. Maybe we need to have more relation, more links between Europe and Pakistan, but I think today we can say something, we can have the decision or resolution in European Parliament. I'm not sure it's very useful in such a situation. But I think we have to say to the Pakistan leaders that we know what they're doing, and what they're doing especially in Pakistan. But I think that first of all, you need a dialogue between the leaders of each country. They try it sometimes, but I know it's very difficult. But we can say that if they try to have such relation, we can help them. We are ready to help them all together, not only one, but all together in the dialogue, in the new dialogue to create between two. But I sincerely hope that your country could become what is really a very nice and rich and a very important country also for the stability of the whole region. Thank you.
Thank you.